afternoon I'm going to take you on a little journey. Please look at the transparency on the board. How many of you know who Mark Twain is? Okay. Someone tell me, who is Mark Twain? James.
He's a writer. He wrote Huckleberry Finn.
Okay. Very popular writer who wrote Huckleberry Finn. Mark Twain was also a writer in his day, and he wrote a book called Life on the Mississippi. This is a picture of the Mississippi River. He made a strange prediction about the future of the Mississippi River. This river, as you can see, is extremely crooked, with many curves, as you can see from the map, showing here, here, and all along the distance. Now, from time to time, there are little cutoffs, and this is what a cutoff looks like. And they take place, and what happens is that the river changes its course from a wide bend, like this, to a more direct path. As a result of this, the length of the Mississippi River is becoming shorter and shorter. Now, the Mississippi between Cairo and New Orleans was 1,215 miles long 176 years ago. It was 1,180 after the cutoff, or the cutoffs, in 1722. And its length, when Mark Twain wrote this book and his prediction, was only 973 miles. Now, we've worked on graphs before, haven't we? We've had our length and width, we've had the x and the y. We can also take that information and make it into a function to form a graph. And this is what our graph might look like. Here's L and here's T. What does L represent, according to the information that I've just given you? What do you think L represents? Chris?
Length.
The length of the river. And what does T represent? Yes?
The time.
The time. Now remember, I said that in 1700, which is right about here, the length of the river was 1,215 miles. And here's the point that represents that. In 1720, it was 1,180. And that point represents that. And in 1875, when Mark Twain wrote this book, it was 975, which we see right there. Now we can plot the points, as we normally do when we have a graph. And the points seem to lie on a straight line. If we extend that line until it intersects with the time axis down here, it appears as if sometime about the year 2,600, what happens? What happens by the time 2,600? Adam?
There's like no river.
There's no river. So Twain said that any calm person who is not blind or idiotic can see that 742 years from now, when he wrote the book, that the lower Mississippi River will only be 1 mile and 3/4 long. Now, what's wrong with that reasoning? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It does? Why does it make sense?
Because the river's like at one point and the line's going down and the time period's like moving, and if it keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, then it's gonna be gone.
It's going to be gone. Okay? Anyone else? Stephen?
It doesn't really sound like it should happen because most times a river just doesn't disappear.
Okay. It does disappear. Say, for example, if there's a drought.
Yeah.
Okay, it disappears that way. But we're talking about cutoffs right now. Anyone else? Pam?
Well, Mark Twain, he doesn't know what will happen to the river in the years to come. He just knew what had happened before him and then. So if it wasn't in a straight line, then maybe it would like stop and go straight, and it wouldn't go to zero.
Very
Or-
good. Very good. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll go back to back.
It's gonna like once it cuts off until it gets the river's gonna become someday like a complete straight line. It's not gonna shrink anymore after that.
Okay. Well, the trouble is that although these 3 points may seem to lie along a straight line, the graph will actually curve later on, just like you said.